Get away from me. Get away from me. Oh my God, I had to push him away with my paddle.
This is Silver Spring State Park in Ocala, and yes, that is an alligator swimming right up to a paddleboarder. This clip went viral a little while back because it perfectly captures the question everyone has before visiting a Florida spring. What if I run into one of these? Florida springs look like pure paradise, don't they? The kind of place you just have to dive into. Crystal clear turquoise water, white sandy bottom, schools of fish drifting past you, and an alligator coming up to your paddleboard to say hi? If you've ever thought about visiting these springs, you've probably asked the very same question everyone else does. Wait a second, are there alligators in here? And after that recent high-profile alligator attack at Lake Kissimmee, which made headlines across the country, the question is on people's minds more than ever. So today, we're going to answer, are there really gators in Florida's springs? And should you be worried? The short answer is yes. The long answer is also yes. Alligators live in every freshwater system in Florida. Lakes, rivers, swamps, canals, golf course ponds, and yeah, springs too. Basically, if it holds water longer than a kiddie pool, assume a gator has at least considered moving in. But here's the key, while gators do live in the springs, your actual risk of encountering one while swimming in there is extremely low. Thousands of people swim in Florida springs every single day during summer without a single incident. Springs are different from lakes or swamps because the water is crystal clear, and that visibility makes them a lot less ideal for an ambush predator like an alligator. See, gators don't really stalk and hunt their prey, they just kind of hang out and quietly wait for something to come close enough to snap up. And in popular parks, gators usually avoid the main swimming holes. Too many people, too much noise and splashing around, and park staff monitors those areas, and any aggressive gators get relocated. So basically, gators are kind of like the introverts at a house party. Once the crowd shows up, they quietly slip out the back door. And here's a fun fact, the water temperature in most Florida springs is a constant 72 to 74 degrees all year round. It's chilly and great for people who want to cool off on a hot summer day, but not quite as ideal for gators who prefer warmer, shallower, murkier water. Alligators are most active early in the morning and at dusk. You're also more likely to see them during mating season, which runs from April through June. This is when they're a little more aggressive, they get a little more territorial, and they roam around looking for mates. And that's the time when the most gator sightings, encounters, and the rare attack on humans actually happens. And you're more likely to spot them in the remote spring runs than in the roped-off swim zones. Kayakers and paddleboarders sometimes see them sunning on the banks, which is perfectly normal. In fact, here's a big fella I saw while kayaking at Silver Springs earlier this year. And here's something else. Gators are cold-blooded, so you're often going to see them basking on logs to soak up the sun. If you see one doing that on a spring run, that is usually all it's interested in doing. Think of it this way, if you were a gator, would you rather hang out with 300 tourists doing cannonballs, or relax on the quiet back channel like it's your private VIP lounge? Now let's talk some numbers because that's what puts the risk in perspective. According to Florida Fish and Wildlife, the state averages about 8 unprovoked bites per year that require medical attention, and since 1948 there have only been about 30 confirmed fatalities from alligator attacks in all of Florida. So statistically, you are a lot more likely to be struck by lightning here, and Florida actually leads the nation in lightning strikes. But have attacks ever happened in the springs? Yeah, they have, though they are really rare. In 2023 at Alexander Springs near Ocala, 2 separate swimmers were bitten in the head while snorkeling in the designated swimming area. One victim was a 79-year-old man, and the other was a 20-year-old woman who was bitten by a 9-foot alligator. Both of them survived, but these incidents led to temporary closures and removal of the nuisance gator. And these cases made national news precisely because they're so rare. I like to think of them like car crashes versus plane crashes. Thousands of car crashes happen every day, almost none of them make the news. But one plane crash happens, and it's all over the place. Kind of like gators. There's a million gators in Florida, but when one of them bites somebody, it becomes a big story. Because it's really rare. Experts like University of Florida's Professor Frank Mazzotti explain,
they're not viciously aggressive. They don't want to attack you. They don't want to eat you. They're not voracious eating machines. None of those things are true about alligators. By and large, what they most like to do and spend most of their time doing is sitting in the sun getting warm.
So how do you keep it safe? The experts all say the same thing. Swim only in designated swim areas during daylight hours, avoid dawn and dusk swims, stay away from the vegetation and overhanging branches, and never ever feed a gator. Brandon Fisher, a Central Florida wildlife expert, puts it bluntly.
Once you hand feed a wild alligator, they associate food with humans and they come closer, and that's when problems happen.
Or as I like to put it, don't volunteer to be Florida's version of Uber Eats. Another tip, if you're paddling or floating and you see a gator, give it plenty of space. They can swim up to 20 miles an hour in short bursts, which is faster than Michael Phelps, but they usually won't bother you if you don't bother them. But while gators will usually try to avoid and ignore humans, the same can't be said about dogs. Never walk your dog near any body of water in Florida. That even includes those neighborhood retention ponds, and never let them off the leash near one either. That is definitely inviting trouble.
Bringing a dog next to the water is like yelling that you've got barbecue ribs. It is, I'm not sure why, but a very attractive food source. I've known alligator trappers that one of the ways they attract an alligator that they're after is by barking like a dog.
And University of Florida did a study that showed 96% of bites are linked to risky human behavior, like swimming at night, walking your dog right near the water's edge, or even provoking them.
It's very, very rare that somebody is completely innocent in, you're on a path and an alligator comes out and chases you. Usually it's people put themselves in an area where alligators occur.
So yeah, when you're swimming in a spring, technically you are swimming in gator country and there may be gators in there, but the risk is really small and the springs are so spectacular that it really shouldn't stop you from going. Florida springs are some of the clearest, most beautiful swimming spots in the entire world, and if you follow the guidelines, the only creatures you're likely to meet are fish, turtles, maybe a manatee, and of course, our favorite guy, Florida Man. But let me know, have you ever spotted a gator in Florida Springs? I know I have. Drop your story in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe for more Florida travel tips and hidden gems. Until then, stay safe, and I'll see you around the Sunshine State.